Hi, I'm Magali. In this lightning talk, I'll talk about unit test coverage from KUnit tests in the DRM system, which in this case encompasses not only the DRM subsystem, but also the work we developed in AMD's display driver, which we talked about 2 days ago. So this talk will go over how test coverage can be of great help to identify areas that need more test cases, and therefore avoid less and less regressions. So a little bit of context. How did KUnit end up in the DRM subsystem in the first place? Going back in time a little bit, there was a task in the DRM subsystem that consisted of converting the self-tests to KUnit. And last year, there was a hackathon that involved 2 major Brazilian universities. And the students from this hackathon converted the self-tests. And after a few months, my colleague, Maíra Canal, finally did the final tweaks and sent the tests to the mailing lists. And they are now available in the DRM tree, and they were just pulled to the mainline yesterday. So as of now, the DRM subsystem has not only those tests that were converted to that were self-tests, but also new tests that are being developed by the community. And okay, so tests and new tests. So to generate the test coverage using KUnit, we have to use the KUnit script, the Python script that is under the Linux repository, but there are actually 2 limitations. We have to use a GCC version that is older than 7, and the only architecture that this script supports is UML, so what a bummer. So this is the command to generate the test coverage, and as you can see, the only difference between running this command and the command to just run the tests is that we have to enable more config entries. Then we can use lcov and genHTML to generate the HTML pages to see the test coverages. And now on to seeing the result of all of this. These are the results from the test coverage results from the DRM helper functions. So those self-tests and also the new tests. As you can see, it's not very covered, so there's room for improvement. And so take, for instance, this function. Using the test coverage tool, we can see, we can have more ideas of test cases that we can write. And this is a task that can be done both by beginners, since it is quite simple, and also by experienced developers who wish to strengthen the DRM subsystem. And this is the result that we achieved in the Google Summer of Code project in the AMD's display driver. Also not very high, but this is what we achieved. And we mainly focus on DMUB, this file on the first square rectangle, and then the DML folder. And in summary, test coverage is a metric that can help us build test cases, and we have to keep in mind that we just don't want any sort of high coverage just for having high coverage. We have also to take into account the quality of tests. So that is it.